Take a listen to Anna Turley and their priorities regarding these thousands and thousands of men coming over on these mega dinghies. Have you seen them carrying up to 230 people now? They might as well be organising a Stella line coming over from France, mightn't they, to Dover? So take a listen and then we'll discuss it later.
You're here today to talk to us about 13 asylum hotels which have been stopped being used by illegal migrants and handed back to local communities. They've essentially been closed down in terms of asylum seeker accommodation. Where are those asylum seekers now being housed? Are they in HMOs?
Our priority is to move them to military bases.
Stop, I have to bus in. The priority is to move them to military bases.
So I'm really pleased that we've closed those 13 hotels today. That's 44 that we've closed since the start of the year, and we're now down to less than 160 hotels from the peak of 400 under the last...
400? Wow.
The public asked us to close hotels, and rightly so, because they were expensive, they were not safe, and it was not an appropriate way to place asylum seekers.
No, what the public asked you to do was stop the boats, not place them somewhere else. Stop the boats.
Particularly in many communities who, like for example, yesterday I was in Blackpool where we closed the Metropole Hotel to asylum seekers, an iconic hotel on the seafront that should be there to support the local economy and jobs and tourism and families coming to have a great day at the seaside. Instead, it was being used to house asylum seekers. That was not appropriate.
But you knew it was a very popular hotel and a very popular destination for people to visit, and yet you still went ahead and you still put asylum seekers in there. And now that the asylum seekers are gone, how do you think people are going to feel that, oh, they've gone now, you can all come back?
To close these hotels across the country, release the burden on some communities that have really had to feel the strain. And our priority...
That word again, priority.
Our priority, as I said, is looking at military bases which are secure, which can contain people safely and not put burden on local communities.
That's disingenuous, so I'm sorry. You've got a few thousand people in military bases. You've got close to 100,000 people who are in the community, many of them in HMOs. That's the truth of it, isn't it?
Well, we've got 2 military bases up and running already. We're looking at a further 3 in the pipeline.
And how many people are you? How many people are in those sites? How many people are in those military bases?
Well, at the moment, we've got probably around 1,500, and we're moving, as I said, to put 3 more online when we go through the due process, consulting with local communities, ensuring we've got planning permission and so on.
Bullshit. Consulting with local communities. People tell you that they don't want them in that area. Do you listen? No, you do not listen. You will put them wherever you want to put them.
And so on. We're also looking at a number of medium-sized accommodations. So, for example, I was dealing with an office block yesterday that's been decommissioned. We're looking at potential things like student accommodation. We're trying to make sure we're using accommodation that is secure, that is appropriate, that puts less strain on the communities and reduces the cost that we saw for hotels.
So they're looking at office blocks now and student accommodation. So how much is that going to cost to convert these office blocks to asylum seekers accommodation? And when you think about it, if they can do this, why didn't they do it for homeless people? Why don't they do it for veterans? That's a question I'd be asking them.
No, the public asked us to reduce the number of hotels.
No, the public didn't ask you to reduce the number of hotels. The public asked you to stop the boats. So it just shows you, doesn't it? Not listening at all.
That we've got a sustained system, whilst crucially at the same time, not just reducing the numbers of people that are in the system claiming asylum, but reducing the numbers of people that are coming here in the first place to try and evade our immigration laws.
So what I would be asking her now is, what plans are in place to stop the boats, to stop the people crossing the channel and coming into the UK? Ask her that.
Military bases aren't working either, are they? We can talk about the case of Piddington, a village of just 300 people, and 1,250 asylum seekers being moved into a military base on the outskirts of that village. We have had children on this channel pleading with Andy Burnham not to allow this to happen. They don't want to change the feeling of their sleepy village. We've seen protests in Crowborough, haven't we? A middle-class area which Andy Burnham is saying they need to do more, they need to play their part, they need to take more migrants. Well, Crowborough is a middle-class area, and look what's happened there.
Oh, a middle-class area, God forbid forbid if they would have to take some asylum seekers in there. Oh, they wouldn't like that, would they? NIMBYs they are, not in my backyard.
It doesn't end well. Military bases aren't the option.
Well, they are, because they're secure, they're self-contained, they reduce the pressure on the local public. You know, the two sites that we have are working. I know, you know, it's frustrating for people, but as I said, I know we have to ensure that there is fairness in the system. We can't continue to put all of our asylum seekers into accommodation in certain areas where we've overstrained it. Military bases have provision of services, they keep people contained, they keep them away from the public on a specific site that is specifically used for that, so that they are not, you know, within the community and distributed. Excuse me, and that's our priority.
It's that word again, priority.
That's our priority. Those military bases are a secure site, and it's important that we continue to house people there where they can be managed well within the system before they're processed.
So there you have it. Their priority is to make sure that they're self-sufficient, they're put into military bases, and their services, they say that the services aren't going to be affected to the people around them. Of course they are, unless what I've heard is that the services like the doctors and the dentists, etc., actually go to the military bases and serve the asylum seekers. So they don't have to make appointments with doctors, or they don't have to make an appointment with dentists. That's their priority, looking after the asylum seekers. So what do you think? Do you think it's a good idea that they've moved them out the hotels and into the military bases? Or do you think the priority should be stopping the boat in the first place? Let me know what your thoughts are. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Ciao.